people think for some reason that spin baiting is only for cold water. Well, I'm here to tell you that's definitely not the truth. It definitely works in cold water, but there's multiple different applications that really works. It really works and shines in. Now, it is something that's it's pretty specific. When you're fishing this bait, you're not going to be. It's not a search bait. It's not a bait that I'm going to use trying to go down the bank or just fish down the bank and try to find fish. It's a bait that I'm using when I'm actually targeting something specific. So whether it might be a current break on a river, or it might be a brush pile on a lake, or it might be schooling fish. These are all great applications for using a spin bait, and the setup is pretty important as well. Personally, for me, making long casts is really important, and I like the braided line, a nano braid, Suffix nano braid, 8-pound to a 6-pound leader. Having a small diameter braid with a small diameter fluorocarbon really allows that bait to act right. If you have really 10 or 12, the bait won't want to sit right, and the action will get messed up just a tad bit, no matter what spin bait you're throwing on the market. So that's one tip that's definitely helped me put more fish in the boat. Now, when I'm fishing this bait, it all depends on how deep I'm fishing, because what it comes down to is this bait sinks. It's sort of like a countdown. We fished countdowns since I was little. I fished countdowns. One of the first baits I ever owned was a Rapala countdown, and you're counting this bait down to the desired depth. So one great way to catch a bass on a spin bait is fishing over brush piles for spotted bass. You hear about it all the time, throwing fish head spins and stuff like that. Well, spin baiting over brush piles takes a little bit more time. You have to know your bait very well, because if you don't know the amount of time it drops every second, then you might cast it out there and get it hung up in your brush pile, and then you lose a $10 or $15 lure. So you got to be careful about that. Knowing how fast the bait drops is super important as well. But reeling that spin bait over the brush pile slowly tends to have those fish, and spotted bass like to suspend over a brush pile. So that's a great way in catching a lot of fish. Now, my favorite spin bait by far is the Arashi spin bait, and Storm Arashi. They've come out this year. The one thing about it that I like, it has a 3-prong propeller on the front, and what that does is it gives me more vibration. When you throw this bait out there, the majority of them, they don't have a lot of vibration, so it's difficult to feel what's going on. And this one has a little bit more vibration, where it feels more like a small spinner bait or so. And it doesn't have as much lift. It's not going to lift much more, but it's going to still get those bites and have a really good action. It's just really subtle bait, but it catches a lot of good fish. Try this out. You'll definitely be surprised.